What's up everyone, Amethine here, finally easing my way back into making content for Dune. Today is going to be a pretty simple video. We're just going to go over a little bit of farming irradiated slag for those spice-infused fuel cells for your spice generators. So it's not going to be too complicated. The bulk of my farming for this is in Sheol, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, Sheol, 6 one, half dozen the other as far as I'm concerned. But you can see marked on your map with these shipwrecks out here that it tells you that there's irradiated slag. And there's a little bit of an RNG factor when you go into this because you're going to find the irradiated slag in chests, and the RNG is how much slag is going to appear in each individual chest. There's another way to get slag, and I'm going to go over that in a second. I'm not really going to show you how to go about doing it because it's pretty straightforward. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I usually just make a circuit around Sheol, right? So there's some smaller shipwrecks around here. You know, the wreck of the Aurea, the other half of the Aurea, the wreck of the Tartarus. You can go to all of these, and the ones on the outer border here have smaller amounts of irradiated slag, just because there's only like 2 to 4 chests in each one. These are smaller shipwrecks, and they're worth going to, like, not individually, but like all together. So I usually just make a whole circuit around here. I'm not going to showcase doing that in this video because that's pretty straightforward. What I want to focus on is the wreck of the Delphis in the center of Sheol, because in this ship alone, there's like 20 chests, and they're not all obvious as far as where they're located. So we're going to get into just pathing around there and finding all of those. But a couple things. One, make sure that you have a radiation suit. I've got my Mark 6 on here. And if you can get the agave seeds, make sure you have some iodine pills too. Each one of these lasts about 10 minutes. So pop one before you go into the shipwreck. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'll see you over at the Delphis. Okay, so we are at the wreck of the Delphis. We are on the south side of it. Technically the east side of the ship, but the side facing the southernmost point of Sheol here. So I've got my radiation suit. I'm gonna pop my iodine pill, and then we're gonna go in here. We're also gonna put this glow tube on our bar because we're gonna need it inside here. You don't really need a weapon because there aren't any enemies in here typically. So we're just gonna pull out our glow tube, and we're gonna double check this way. Good, no chest there. Going over here. All right, so the first place you want to look is this little gap right here. It's gonna drop down. There's a chest right below us, and it opens up into a bigger expanse towards the center of the ship. We're gonna hold off on going in there first because we're gonna go back up this gap, because I like kind of working my way around the outside of the ship first, like the outer edges, and then going towards the center after that. We do need to go to the center because we need the identity band, the ID band for this door, which we're going to get from the center of the room, and I'll show you where that is in just a second. We're going to go towards this edge here, going counterclockwise. All right, medium chest here. So we've got one chest. This is the second one. I've got plenty of this stuff. I don't really care too much about grabbing that right now. But yes, if you're short on those microfibers, by all means grab them, especially if you're still making your armor sets. You can also find a glow tube on this guy if you don't have one. That's where we just were. It's the medium chest. Going around the outside here. Remember, 2 out of 20 chests so far. Roughly 20. I think that's the exact number that there is, but I might be off by 1 or 2. Like, I might be overestimating another glow tube. Don't need that. Oh, yep, there's one tucked behind some of this. I'm just going to call it cargo containers. So we're going to take the Solaris, take the slag. That's 3 out of 20. See what I mean? Like, I'm not a super observant person, right? Like, I could have easily missed that chest if I didn't know it was there, or if I didn't see it glowing behind it. I actually did miss it the first couple circuits I made of the Delphis. There's also one over here. That's 4 out of 20. We also need the ID band for this door, and we're going to grab that here in a little bit too. But still working our way around the outside edge. Alright, there's one over there, remember that. But first we're going to stay on the outside here. Here's 5 of 20. And you can loot this container. There's no slag in it, but there's some Solaris if you care about 65 or whatever number appears for you. It's not much. Already found 5 out of 20 in here. Alright, so we're going back this way to grab 6 out of 20. Alright, so we need to get in here, right? Because there's the purple ID band is in there, and that's going to unlock 2 different doors for us. One of them we already saw. It's not the one at the beginning, it's the second one we saw that was next to the 4th chest we found. So we're at 6 out of 20 chests, so if you go back 2 chests, one of the doors I'm referring to is over there. So here's one of the entrances. There's actually 2 entrances. There's one right here to get to the ID band. The other one's right over there. It doesn't matter which one you use because you go in one and out the other. So here's the purple ID band. So we'll remember that we grabbed that, right? But there's some other chests we need to find out here first. So we have 6 out of 20. There's one right here. Here's 7 out of 20. Right up this way. Alright, this is nothing. It looks like it could be something, like you could cut it open with a cut array. You can't. It's nothing. You can ignore it. There is a door we need to cut open, though. But first, we're going to get chest 8 out of 20. It's another medium-sized chest. There's also a mine in here, which does not bother me at all. So there's 8 out of 20. Here's 9 out of 20. And the door we need to cut open is on one of the raptors that we see right here. It is not this one. This one doesn't lead to anything. Just leads to this dead end right here. Okay, and then the other end of it is also nothing. It just takes you to the hole that we jumped out of when we got the purple ID band, so we can come back down here. Alright, so we're at the point where we need to find the ID band to open that door, but also the door back at the beginning, right? The purple band that we picked up leads us to the rear of the ship that we haven't gone to yet. We were close to it, we just didn't go in. But the door that we need to open is right here, that we need to cut open to get another ID band. It's a green one. And that's going to open the door that's back at the beginning of the ship when we first entered. Grab that. There's also a chest in here, which is 10 out of 20. That makes us halfway. Or we have half the chest, rather. And there's 11 out of 20 over here. Okay, now we're going to go back and open that, or go through that green Penta shield now that we have the ID band for it. That'll give us another chest or 2. Nope, I went no, I didn't go too far. I didn't go far enough. Or rather, I went the wrong way. But that's alright. We'll just go. There's that medium chest we already opened earlier. We'll go back this way. Just cut that door open. I'm a little scatterbrained because I can never remember if there's a chest up here. I don't think there is, but my OCD always makes me check. Yeah, there is. 11 out of 20. This is opposite of that door we just cut open to get that green ID band. Okay. Now we need to find that green pentashield that ID band gets us into. There it is. The exit, the entrance where we came through to get into the ship in the first place is that way. But here's the door that the green band got us into. 12 out of 20. There's no slag in here, but there's, you know, armor plating, stuff like that if you need it. Okay, now we're gonna go to the rear of the ship, which the purple band gets us into, and that's where we're gonna find another ID band that's gonna get us into that other pentashield that we can't currently access that's out here. Actually, we already can. That's right, it's the green band that gets you into Sheol, not the purple one. I misspoke earlier, I apologize for that. So once you get the green band, you can get that pentashield that's at the start that we just left, but also this one that has 3 chests in it. So that's 13 out of 20, 14 out of 20, and 15 out of 20. And if I'm not mistaken, the other 5 are where we are currently heading that the purple band gets us into, the purple ID band. We already opened that one. This door back here is what the purple ID band that's in the vent. That's what gets us into here. All right, and there's a few chests in here. Make sure to always look at the sides. The most important chest is over there. I'm sure you saw it glowing. There's 16 out of 20. Oh, here we go. 17 out of 20. 18 out of 20. Which means I am missing 2, and I'll have to double back and find those. As you can see, I'm not perfect. I don't even remember where all of them are a lot of the time, but I've gotten you most of them so far, but we're not... Oh, here we go. There's 19 out of 20. I thought there were more than 2 in here, or 3 rather. So I'm just missing 1 now. Doesn't look like it's actually in here like I thought it was. So there's 1 out in the greater ship that I'm missing. And we are not stopping until we find it, because I will not upload an incomplete video to you all. Unless if the video is incomplete, it's because I didn't know something, which people have pointed out to me before. I did a Diamondine dust video where I missed two spots that have Diamondine dust. And I'm gonna re-upload a video at some point showcasing those. That's not it, we already got that one. Oh, there it is right there, number 20. 20 out of 20, it's right next to that map, so, or that table rather. All right, now we're out of here. So that's pretty much gonna do it, guys. That's all 20 chests in the wreck of the Delphis. I'm sorry for my scatterbrain there, and I forgot where that last one is. But now you have it. And I also mentioned there's another way to farm slag besides buying it from a vendor. I guess, well, actually there's 2 other ways. Both of them, one of them involves going to the deep desert, and another one does, but also doesn't involve going to the deep desert. And I'll explain what I mean as soon as I get out of Sheol, so I can get rid of this radiation poisoning here. So I will catch you in just a second. Okay, cool. Now that I'm not getting radiation poisoning, you can see it's still ticking down on my screen here. There are 2 other ways to farm irradiated slag without having to buy it from a vendor. The first way is to go to crashed ships. Now, when I say crashed ships, that's not the same thing as me saying shipwrecks. Shipwrecks, as far as I'm concerned, are the ones that you see on the map that are always there. right? Like they're always here in Sheol, except for the ones in the deep desert. It's the same concept, right? But the ones in the deep desert change every week because they're procedurally generated. But it's the same idea. Once you find them in the deep desert, they will be marked on your map. When I say crash ships, I mean the ones that crash out of the sky. Like you can actually see them crash. And the ones in the weekly event here that spawn worms way too quickly, like the one you see right there, those aren't the ones I'm referring to. I believe you can occasionally find irradiated slag in those, but those aren't the ones I'm referring to. The crash ships that I'm referring to are the ones that are always potentially crashing in the Hagga Basin or in the deep desert. I tend to have way more luck finding irradiated slag on the crash ships in the deep desert than I do in Hagga Basin, but I have found it in the crash ships in Hagga Basin. The second way you can farm irradiated slag without having to buy it from a vendor and without doing this circuit in Sheol is going into testing stations in the deep desert. You can find it in chests in the testing stations. I can make a separate video on going through those, but if I make a separate video on going through those, I'm not going to be focused on irradiated slag. I'm going to be focused on, oh God, what's it called? The plasteel parts for making high-end or high-tier gear and things like that. Or really making the materials for high-end gear. But you can farm the materials by themselves, so you don't usually have to go that route if you don't want to. But it's just another method to add to your farming routes and your material gathering and stuff like that. So that's going to do it for today, guys. I appreciate you watching and listening. Again, sorry for my brain fog there with that last chest. But that is the 20 chests in the wreck of the Delphis for farming irradiated slag. If you combine that with making the entire circuit to all of these other wrecks, you will come out of there with quite a bit of irradiated slag for your spice-infused fuel cells and your spice generators. Just from the Delphis alone, how much did we get? We got 101. So you can easily get like 50 more out of that circuit if you go to those other shipwrecks. Now remember, RNG is a factor in terms of how much slag actually spawns in each individual chest, but it respawns in like 45 minutes after the chest is looted, so you can do this numerous times a day if you have the time. So I appreciate you watching and listening. Please do hit that like and subscribe button if you want more Dune content or content from other games in general. I'm open to suggestions. And I really appreciate you being here. Liking and subscribing really does help me and the channel out, and I will catch you in the next one. Amethine out.